I never was one to plan. I was never one to sit there and map out my week. I was never one to want to sit down and scope out my life. I was spontaneous. I wanted to live life freely. I wanted to live life with no regrets. I always said that every experience that happened to you has shaped you to be the person that you are today. And when I lived with those mottos, I found it exceedingly difficult at times to manage my life. Sometimes I tell myself that it'll be okay. Sometimes I tell myself that this next venture is the one. When it comes to jobs, hobbies, and just planning events or get-togethers or vacations. Sometimes simple things seem very overwhelming, and sometimes they creep up on me like I didn't even expect it to be that way. Sometimes I think that if the thing hasn't happened and it's planned, it isn't okay because it might not happen. And sometimes I put myself in these precedents that if it doesn't happen, I'll be upset. And why am I like this? Well, there's a lot of reasons why. I was always spontaneous as a child, but it really took place and shape when I experienced a lot of trauma in my life. I began to realize that you can't really rely on other people for things. You can't rely on others to deliver results. You can't rely on others to give you the expectation you want. And you certainly can't rely on others to dictate your emotion or your feelings in these times of vulnerability. It's okay to experience the emotion. It's actually 100% acceptable and needed to feel the emotion, but don't let them dictate how you feel for the rest of your life, for the rest of the week, for the rest of the day. Let it be known that you have to process that emotion and be present with yourself. To be exceedingly happy with that moment and know that you have the ability to control how you feel, how you project, and how you move past that moment and emotion is what's important. Relying on others for your own self-confidence is painful. It's really malnourishing for your soul. And there was a time where I thought that I needed to hang out with everyone all the time to be liked, to be wanted, to be part of a group, to be accepted. And there's a time when your girl needs that type of acceptance. And all it does is drown you when you accept that you are accepting some negativity and you're masking yourself for someone else or for that person, that group, that time and space. And the only way you can be you and experience the real reality of life is when you are truly yourself in this world. When you turn down these ideas that you want to be something that you're not, which you wouldn't even know if you're masking at these times, it's challenging. And you think, are you really you? Are you really living for this world, for yourself? Or are you living for society? Are you living for someone else? Are you living to not experience life to its fullest? It's so easy to get caught up in what society tells you should be how you feel, what others tell you how it should be, and what others want of you or expect of you. The only expectation you should have of yourself is how you can be you in this world. Being you and unique is very difficult and challenging. And back to the spontaneity aspect of it, the best way to experience you is to meditate and be spontaneous and know in the moment and intuitively that you want this. You have this passion for or this desire for this career in your life, or you have this passion or this desire to help others in your life. And you can get into that field in so many ways and truly telling the universe and sending that energy out there that you want to be in that particular moment, in that time space, in that world, and help those people in that aspect of your life. It will show up somehow in your life, I promise you. You will find a way to make it work. You will think outside the box to get results, to find how you need to be in that world or environment. And I know it sounds crazy, but, for years I fought it. I said, I'm gonna be happy this time, but you can't make yourself happy if you don't know who you are yourself. And you can't have those expectations of yourself if you really don't deep dive in on yourself. So many people in this world are walking around without knowing who they truly are, meaning they have no inside self-esteem value because they left that behind a long time ago for corporate America. They left that a long time ago behind to be consumed by something else in this world. And distractions are so evident in this world. And sometimes the distraction is Satan creeping in your life to change the way you view things. But I truly believe the energy you put out and the positivity and empathy, the world needs this empathy and positivity, and you will radiate and connect with the right person, the right time, the right place, the right thing, the right experience that you need in your life to be there. And I promise you, it's only your breath work away. And the easiest way to do it is take a deep breath in and release out your nose and come back to your breath work every day and realize that you can calm your mind, you can calm your body, you can calm your soul by focusing on your breath work. And it's very gratifying to know that you have this gift. Everyone on this earth that breathes has this gift. And we as humans can use this gift to really calm ourselves down, calm our nervous system, because at one time, our spontaneous life or spontaneous curiosity was sucked away by something. And we were not able to consume the world the correct way, meaning we were ate by the world, and we were changed and modified to be molded into something that society told us was acceptable. And it's okay to do things and try new things and accept it, but don't let it ever change who you are. Don't let it change who you want to be. And essentially, it's really sad because I see people that I knew from years ago, and I wonder, are they really living their life for them, or are they consumed by what society told them to live for? And I've gone through a lot of trauma in my past to know that it's hard to give up some things that you necessarily don't want to give up, and to think that you're not going to be okay because you don't have certain things in your life, but know that God is always there and has been able to guide you throughout life without ever leaving your side. But when it comes to spontaneity, I say that sometimes it's amazing to live free-spirited. And as much as I want to say that I have a lot of format and structure in my life, I do live very free-spiritedly in a sense that I know when I feel a certain way, I need to do something and get away from the anxiety, the depression, the pain. And I know that when I let it consume me for a certain amount of time and I feel paralysis, feel as though I have not found any joy in the hobbies I used to find joy in, that it's consumed my soul and I need to take a break and I need to go for a walk. I need to be outside with nature, with other humans, and interact with them because connection is life. And it's so hard these days to find this type of relationship with others, or others are willing to accept and take time with you because, being a mom, I find it so challenging to find friends. And I feel like the friends I do have sometimes struggle with the same problem. And I want to say it's liberating sometimes when I can, go to the beach and look at the ocean and tell myself, we all came from one place and we all shall go back to that same place. But at the same time, the world is so vast that there's so many people, so many connections, so many things that you have not yet met in this world that can make a difference in your life, or you can make a difference in that person's life. That we have a great gift as humans to have that connection with the world and make the change and be the difference. And we don't have to let this negative aspect consume our lives. We don't have to let, other people dictate our life. We have this freeing spirit, freeing mind, and this breath work can bring us back grounded to earth. And, ever since I, found yoga years ago, what it really brought to me and brought to life was it showed me that I store so much trauma in my body. A movement can really clear all that for me. It can help clear a lot of the toxins out of my body that I store inside for years. I honestly thought that, years ago that I was so angry, but I thought that was how I was supposed to be honest, because where I grew up, I feel like, a lot of people I knew that I grew up with were angry, and I didn't really understand, but I feel like if you grow up, who you hang out with and who you grow up with will dictate your future. You'll eventually learn to be like that person. And I didn't want to be that person. It was hard at first because I struggled knowing that it was not like I wanted to be that way or I knew I was being that way intrinsically, but it was more of a sense that I had captured this type of, this type of masking or this type of persona, I want to say. And the more the persona was consumed and the more that the persona was around me, meaning other people that were this type of way, the more that I became that way. And I was like that for a while, because unless you break yourself of that bad habit that you might not even be aware of, I wasn't really, focused on the present, the here and now, and I was missing out on life. And when I was angry, I was not accepting and not living life to my fullest. And I wasn't really breathing and being in the present moment. And it was so painful to look back now and think, was I really that angry? Was I really that bad? Was I really storing that much trauma? Was I really storing that much emotion? Was I really holding it all in? And sad thing is, you could be really holding all that in. You can be in so much pain and so much hurt and not even know that you are a certain way, or you could be better. You could be living a better life because you haven't accepted to release all that. So back to when I discovered yoga, I knew that I didn't even know it was helping me, to be honest. I just knew I wanted to be physically fit again after having kids. And I knew about the peace and calm and tranquility I believed. And when you first go and you're just like, I don't even know what meditation is. I don't even know if this is possible for me to even do. And so I walked in, to this yoga class, and I think my husband and I went to the first yoga class because I was familiar with Payo from Beachbody, and we went to the gym class together and we did surrender, and it was kind of like this calming meditative state I was in where I didn't even know it was possible to focus on your breath work. I didn't know it was possible to be here. I didn't know it was possible to be present in the moment, and I didn't know how much I was missing out in life. And slowly but surely I worked my way up, and I was able to do, hot yoga and really detox my body and understand the ramifications of it. The hot yoga was so freeing for my mind, to be honest. It's not even like, I can't even put in words how amazing it was, because sometimes at the end of class, I would sit there in Shavasana and I would just be so overwhelmed with emotion that was dripping from my soul and exposing myself to that I would be crying, I would be silently crying. And I just remember the one time I was there in yoga class, and I think it was a memory of my grandfather had popped up into my head when I was in meditative state. And I didn't even think it was possible to remember memories from that long ago, but it was possible. And I'm telling you, your mind stores everything. Your body stores everything. And, I feel like a lot of times too, when you're in stress and trauma, or just really caught up in the moment and you lost your zest for life and you lost your zest for spontaneity, just looking at nature and seeing all the simple things in life and how you are missing out on these incredible things if you're focused on in your own head on this traumatic stuff that's going on in your life, because you can't really live your life unless you're focused on it. And you can't really live life unless you're focused on the present moment either. And I hope if you're listening or you're still listening, that the one thing that you get out of this is that you can heal yourself. You can help yourself. You can get over whatever it is that you're going through in your life that's tragic, that's demanding, that's whatever. And I am a true Christian and fully believe that God can help you. The power of prayer is always there, and the power of connection is what's real. And what I will say is that I think we really do need each other in this world. And until you accept and know that you have to be willing to work on yourself to see these changes, it doesn't ever happen. Because, I mean, there's people I've known from years ago that I really want, I pray for them to get to this point and to know that there is hope and there is faith and there is growth and there is all this stuff in the world, and everybody is rooting for you, even if you think they're not. I've been there before where I thought, as intrinsically, is anybody out there really, considering me? And it kind of gets depressing and overwhelming. You're a mom and you go through the chaos and the life of the repetition. And at one point you realize that it does get better, and you just have to be reminded and focus and know that your mindset is everything in this world, and that if you do not create the reality that you want to live in, you will be stuck in negativity forever. So just be willing to make those changes in your life, and be willing to know when you get to that struggling part that you have the power to do this. You have the power to reshape your mind. You have the power and the strength within you to make these changes. And the world has the energy and power and the meditative aspects to help you do that as well. And so does God. So don't ever forget that.